Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into the story of a truly visionary leader who navigated a struggling, under-resourced college through what is arguably Taiwan's most turbulent historical period. We're looking at the years between 1975 and 1981. This was a critical window of time when President謝校長took the helm of what we now know as National Taiwan Ocean University. His tenure wasn't just about managing a school, though. It was about laying the foundation for an international-level university right in the middle of a massive geopolitical storm.
So, picture this. How exactly does a small, completely underfunded college survive when it feels like the whole world is literally turning against its home country? It's a pretty fascinating question, right? Because the odds were just totally stacked against this place. Turning things around required a unique blend of foresight, resilience, and a really profound sense of mission. To truly grasp the magnitude of what Shi Shintao accomplished, we need to understand the incredibly high stakes of the environment he was operating in.
Section 1. The Stormy Era, 1975 to 1981.
President Xi steps up to take the reins right as these massive global and domestic crises are crashing down on Taiwan all at once. Talk about intense instability. You've got the Cold War structure completely shifting. In 75, the Vietnam War ends, and anxiety just spreads like wildfire across Asia. Then you get hit with two massive global oil crises, one in 73 and another in 79, driving severe economic recession and crazy inflation. And then comes the absolute ultimate blow, the massive diplomatic avalanche that peaked when the United States severed diplomatic ties in 1979. As you can imagine, society was just completely gripped by this intense collective anxiety.
And meanwhile, the college itself? Well, it was in pretty terrible shape. People actually described it at the time as inherently lacking. I mean, they were dealing with severe funding shortages, equipment that was aging fast, an incomplete roster of academic talent, and, this is a big one, a crippling lack of space. The whole campus was only about 16 hectares. That is an absolutely tiny footprint for an institution that was expected to train the talent needed for Taiwan's massive 10 major construction projects. Think new ports in Suao and Taichung, and a booming shipbuilding industry. Honestly, the school was practically struggling just to stay afloat.
Section 2. Breakthroughs and expansion.
But here's the thing. Faced with this perfect storm of national panic and institutional poverty, Xi didn't back down. Not at all. Instead, he kicked off a massive transformation. The contrast is night and day, going from the struggling, severely underfunded provincial school to the sprawling national asset it rapidly became. He knew that to serve the nation's booming maritime needs, he had to completely shatter those physical and structural bottlenecks.
So what does he do? He aggressively expands the footprint by claiming 15 hectares of new land. Just through sheer unyielding determination, he secures coastal reclaimed land along Binding Road and even adds some mountain and forest terrain. By claiming those 15 hectares, he literally doubled the size of the campus to over 30 hectares. That bold move laid the absolute essential physical foundation for the massive coastal campus that's standing there today.
Section 3. Historic national upgrading. Now, obviously, a bigger ship needs a much better crew, right? So Xi aggressively upgraded the academic infrastructure. He wanted to take this school from just a basic training ground for sailors and turn it into an elite hub for advanced academic research. Methodically, step by step, he establishes 4 brand new research institutes, focusing on fisheries manufacturing, ocean law, and ocean and river engineering. He builds out key facilities, including the Chiang Kai-shek Fisheries Science Hall and a swimming pool, and this is pretty incredible for the time, he introduces a dedicated computer center. He wanted to make absolutely sure his students had their hands on rare, cutting-edge information technology and were at the very forefront of modernization. Of course, having world-class facilities means nothing without world-class minds to run them. To staff these new institutes, he goes out and actively recruits over 60 overseas PhDs and brilliant young scholars, bringing them back to Taiwan to serve. On top of that, he pushed hard for internationalization, officially signing the school's very first international sister school agreement with the National Fisheries University of Busan over in Korea. And all of this completely tireless work culminated in a truly monumental achievement. In 1979, against all odds, and literally during Taiwan's absolute darkest diplomatic hour right after the US broke ties, he successfully elevated the school from a provincial college to National Taiwan Ocean College. It was a masterstroke. He essentially took maritime education and elevated it to a matter of critical national strategy, turning the institution into a literal lifeline for the country.
Section 4. Hardship is best training.
Now, you might be wondering, how in the world did he keep everyone's morale up during such terrifying, lean times? I mean, the world is closing its doors on you. Your resources are stretched to the absolute limit. How do you motivate a campus? Well, he completely reframed their struggle. He leaned right into the poverty, telling his students that hardship was actually the best possible opportunity to train them. He demanded this exceptionally high spiritual resilience to make up for their total lack of material wealth. He was determined to forge a maritime talent pool with a profound sense of responsibility and an entrepreneurial spirit, totally molded by the intense challenges they were facing. To drive this home, she tied the school's success directly to the survival of the entire nation. He rolled out this incredibly powerful rallying cry: "Ocean matters are Ocean College's responsibility." He made it crystal clear to every single student and professor that if their college failed to produce top-tier talent, Taiwan's entire maritime construction would fail. Period. No backup plan, no remedy for the nation. Every single member of the school had to view the institution's honor as their own personal duty.
Section 5. A world-class vision.
Because you see, she wasn't just fixing up a local school. He was acting like a macro-strategic maritime scholar, charting a course for an isolated island nation. He clearly saw the massive global shift happening in international law, with the new law of the sea, which was sparking this wild global race as countries started declaring 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zones. Domestically, he recognized that since relocating to Taiwan, the Republic of China had to rapidly transition from a continental mindset into a true maritime nation. So his ultimate goal was bold and it was clear: to build a world-class maritime university looking up to the world. He firmly believed that using the sea to control the land was the key. To survive the extreme pressure of the Cold War and resist any external threats, establishing an undeniable foundation of sea power was quite literally the only way forward. He starkly put it like this: "Whoever owns the ocean rules the world." He envisioned a future where Taiwan could stand as a formidable global power, strong in both land and sea domains. He was single-handedly keeping the lifeline of Taiwan's maritime education alive, while the storm raged outside. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with something to really chew on. We are once again living in an era of intense, high-stakes global ocean competition. Geopolitics, supply chains, naval power, they're dominating our headlines every single day. Half a century after President Xi Jinping transformed a struggling, tiny college into a massive national maritime powerhouse through sheer will and vision, we have to ask ourselves, are we still navigating with that same visionary grit today? Are we truly living up to the massive potential of an island prospering by the sea? Well, it's definitely a question worth asking as we look to the horizon.